welcome back. This is my second video, my YouTube video, and I am going to just be talking while I clean my girls' playroom because I still haven't figured out how to make videos or like carve out time to make videos. So I figured I'm going to just make videos to start with why I do things that I usually do. So I am cleaning the girls' playroom tonight, and I'm going to be disinfecting their toys because we had hand, foot, and mouth during Christmas, and yes, it's February now, but I was like, we should disinfect them. Even though I don't know if it matters anymore because we haven't gotten sick since, and it's been a couple months now. But I was like, it doesn't hurt to disinfect. But anyway, so I'm gonna do that because I just haven't. But also, I figured out an awesome idea for the channel, for this YouTube channel, and I'm going to help me get my subscribers and reach my goals, I am going to, for every subscriber I get, I will save $1 and up to $1,000, 1,000 subscribers. So once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to take that $1,000 and I'm going to donate it to someone or something. So some kind of organization, whether it's in my community, somebody else's community, or you know, I have some people in mind that I know that could benefit from it, but when that time comes, then we'll kind of decide. And if y'all have ideas, you can comment on my video and let me know what y'all think. I am using a fancy camera that I got months ago to start making better videos, and I got it to make better videos. It's the Osmo Pocket one, I think that's what it's called, and that is, it like face detects you, so that's why it's moving as I'm moving, and it comes with like a tripod, it comes with this mic, so it's pretty sweet, and I haven't used it a lot, but I have, but I want to start using it, and I like that it tracks my face because of things like this. Like, I'm usually like doing something and it's easier for me to talk while I'm doing something. So I figured I need to try it out and actually use it because I have not been using it to its full potential, and it's expensive. So I'm like, I need to use it and gather my videos. But anyways, I figured I could talk about a little bit about our real estate and whatever else comes to my mind, because that's how my mind works. But I think in my last video, I talked about how this video would be more about how we got our first property. So I guess I'll talk about that. And don't forget to subscribe. Okay? Don't forget. But so our first property. To start, Sean and I, my husband, we got married in 2020, and we didn't have much savings, probably like $1,000 or less. We didn't have any savings like that, but we were both very goal-oriented. We're very much read books about real estate before we even met. Sean was really big into like he wanted to do multifamily. I didn't know. I was more like, let's house hack kind of thing, but we didn't really have an idea of what or how and anything like that. So anyways, we had no money. But we got married, and Sean had his own apartment at the time, and the lease would end like 3 months after we got married. So we were like, oh, we should look and see about getting a house. We had no idea, like, if we needed a down payment. We didn't know what to do. So we kind of just jumped in and kind of just went for it. And we first went on like Facebook pages, the community Facebook pages, and we just asked around or looked at other posts about how to for recommendations for a realtor. So we started with that, and there was one realtor that we ended up connecting with, and his name was Joe, and he was great. Like, we started talking to him, he kind of introduced us, and he was really gung-ho. And this is 2020, by the way, so housing market was starting to get, like, crazy. Prices were starting to go up. They haven't gone up crazy yet, but interest rates were kind of getting low. It was just the beginning of everything, right? So we started going with him, and he sent over, like, the agreement to sign that's saying, like, you are committed to this real estate agent. And he went through it with us on a Zoom call and everything like that. And we liked him. We were like, sure, we have no idea what we're doing, so this sounds good, right? And whatever, but we didn't sign it yet. We weren't sure what we were doing, and we were just thinking it over, and we were like, we don't even know if we can afford a house because we have no down payment. We have nothing, you know? But Sean and I are very optimistic people, I would say. I don't know if others would say so, but I would say we're very optimistic people, and we are, like, we kind of dream big. Both of us have, like, big aspirations. I don't know if that's even the right wordage. Wordage? You know what I'm saying. So, sorry, I'm trying to connect. I have this photo book, but it's, like, all funky. Anyways, so I'm trying to put it back in there. So we were going to sign with this guy. And then I remember very, very clearly, we were driving down the road, and I had this thought. I was like, you know what? I think we need to connect with this lady that my dad had used up here in Idaho. My dad lives in Texas, but he bought an investment property in Idaho. And I was like, I had this feeling that we needed to connect with her. So I got her information from my dad, and my dad either sent her my information and she emailed me, or I emailed her. I don't know which one it was. So we ended up getting connected, and we kind of told her our goals, told her we have no down payment, like, what are our options, blah, blah, blah. And she connected us with a lender, and we kind of got the ball rolling, and we got pre-approved pretty quickly, and then we had to say, like, no to this other guy, because this other realtor guy, as real estate agents do, like, call you nonstop. So he kept calling us and following up with us, which I guess is great. I mean, he's doing his job. He's trying to make money. But I was so afraid to, like, tell him no, so I had Sean do it for me. He called him me, but I was like, I had Sean talk to him and tell him, we're not interested. We're going to go with Lonnie. And he knew Lonnie, which is our real estate agent. He knew her. I mean, most people probably know her because she's been in the business for 20 plus years, I think, and in this area, not in different areas. Anyways, so we connected with her. Sorry, I'm trying to find these toys. Connected with her. We got all that done. We kind of stopped with him, and we started looking at houses. Now, this was, again, the time where, like, houses were flying off the market here, and I'm sure everywhere else in the States, but, like, houses were not staying on the market long at all. And so we would look at a house, we would put an offer on a house, and no house that we, like, loved, but we were like, you know, we put in an offer on a house and houses, and they would be like, have bigger offers or whatever. And then I remember we looked at one house, the last house before we found the house that we did buy. We looked at it, and we were, like, kind of bummed out because it was just such a janky house, but it was in our budget, and I don't know, it was just so janky. And the kitchen, they, like, added on the kitchen later, and the ceiling was just, like, right above Sean's head, and he's 6'1" or 6'2", so it was just, like, so janky. But we were like, is this our only option? Like, are we just gonna have to move in? And again, we had no experience with real estate. Now we would be like, oh, we can fix this up and we can do this, but at the time we had no experience with anything with the houses, really, other than, like, little things from when we were growing up. And So we were like kind of thrown off by like projects like that. So we were kind of bummed out, but I remembered I saw these new townhomes in that same area that we were looking at this house. These new townhomes that were being built. They weren't, some of them were built already, some of them weren't, but they were on the market, and I saw them on Zillow. So I told our real estate agent about them, and they were in our budget. So I told her about them when we were leaving that janky house, and so we ran over there, literally like 2 minutes from the house we were looking at. We ran over there and we looked at them, and they were so nice. It was 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath townhome with a 2-car garage, and they were so, I mean, they're brand new, and we were like, this is what we want for our first place, because we don't know what we're doing. And we felt really good about it. So that night, she wrote up an offer. We got one of the last units. There was no more end units left, which is fine. We didn't care. So we got one of the last units, and it wasn't done yet. So our unit was one of the last units to be done. And so we did that. We signed a purchase agreement, and all of that, and we got that property for $190,000. Those townhomes now are going for over $300,000, and like today, and we bought it. We signed our purchase agreement in 2020, July of 2020, and it wasn't done until April of 2021, which doesn't seem like a long time looking back. You know, but in the moment, it was so frustrating, because they said they were going to be done in November, then December, and then January, and then like all new builds, I feel like that's just common. But again, this is our first time dealing with any of this, so it was very frustrating, and I almost just called it off. I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. It's very frustrating, because every time we'd go look, it wasn't as done as they said it would be, and it was just very like disheartening, or just like very discouraging every time we would go and look at it. But so then, because we had our apartment lease up in August, so we signed the purchase agreement in July of 2020. Our apartment lease was up in August, and so, sorry, Kinley is still awake. She's talking in her bed. I don't know if you can hear it, but their room is just right there. So anyway, so we had to find a place to live, because it was supposed to be done in November 1st. So we were like, we only need a few months, you know, and so we couldn't find like a month, but my sister-in-law let us stay with them, and they have 4 teenagers, and they let us stay in their house with them, and that was very nice. And we stayed there because we were only going to stay till November, and so we lived with them from like August, September-ish, maybe it was September, until April, and it was crazy. So because it was just so frustrating that every time we'd go look at this place, it wouldn't be even close to where they said they would be. So that it was just very discouraging. But then there was many times that we had like a closing date the week of, and then the day of, we had to cancel, or we had to push it back. And there was, on the day we were supposed to close, we had packed up everything. We had everything packed up in our cars. Sean and I were both working at the time, so we both worked. We went to work with all our junk in our cars, and we were supposed to close, and then our agent called us and was like, actually, we can't close today. And I was like, what the heck are we supposed to do with all this crap? I'm not about to unload it again for nowhere. So she was able to, because the reason why is because the builder, I guess, and I don't know the technicalities of this, but the builder, I'm guessing, didn't get the certificate of occupancy yet, and so we couldn't obviously live in it. So, but our real estate agent was able to work with the builder, work with whoever, I don't know, and she let us get in and put all our stuff in the garage. at least. So that night, which was very helpful because we had family coming into town. Sean's family was coming into town with a trailer to help us haul our stuff from storage unit, because we bought a bunch of our stuff and appliances from the, from where? Oh, from like Black Friday and stuff. And so we had them coming in to help us, and we were like, well, now we can't. And so we were very frustrated about that. But our agent was able to get us in, at least to the garage. We were able to get into the whole thing, but we were supposed to just be able to put our stuff in the garage for the night. So that was nice. And then we closed that next day, or that Friday. I think we closed on a Friday. We closed on April 21st of 21st or 22nd of 2024. 2021. Oh my goodness. We closed April 21st of 2021, I'm pretty sure. So that property we got for $190,000 was our purchase price, and we had to re-up our purchase agreement, like re-sign it multiple times, because I guess we signed for like, oh, this offer is good for X amount of time. So our real estate agent every couple months, I guess, would send us a new purchase agreement, if I'm remembering correctly. We got into that for $190,000. We used a RD loan, a USDA loan, and we were able to put 0% down, and the builders paid our closing costs. So we had to put $1,000 earnest money, which I am not gonna lie, I was nervous to write $1,000 check, and I was like, we barely have $1,000 to put down on this thing, and I was so nervous because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, we have no money, like, we can't even. Like, I didn't think we even had $1,000 for earnest money, but we ended up having it, obviously. But we put $1,000 earnest money down, and then at closing, because they paid our closing cost, we got our $1,000 back. It was a refundable $1,000 earnest money, so that was really cool. And just like, it was just crazy how it all worked out, and we didn't even know like everything that was involved or how great of a deal that was, because we literally put nothing into that house because it was a new build. We obviously bought our appliances and things like that, but we bought those for ourselves. And our goal from the beginning of that was to live in it for a year, and then after that year, we would pull out a HELOC. We would pull out a HELOC, a home equity line of credit, after a year, or, close to a year, and then use our HELOC, to put down a down payment on our second house. Now, our second house, I mean, since I'm still cleaning, I'm just going to go on that whole rampage of how we got that. So our second house, we used our HELOC to get into. And so now this is 2022. I'm pregnant with our first baby. And so I applied through our credit union for a HELOC. And usually HELOCs can be like interest only, and then you pay back the rest in the future, which is great, like investment wise. But I kind of wish we would have done that. Like, after I did it the way we did it, I was like, oh, I wish I would have just found a credit union or bank that was just interest only payments on their HELOC. But now at this point in time, I'm like, I'm glad ours is principal and interest payments. So, but for a while I was like, dang it, I wish we would have just, waited, or not waited, but looked around and found, because we used the same credit union for everything, except for our house loans. But anyways, so I applied in January or February of 2022 for a HELOC, and we started looking for houses. We got pre-approved again, same lender, same real estate agent, and we started looking for houses again. And now this 2022 is really bad. Prices were high, interest rates were going high. So we were putting in offers left and right again, and nothing was coming up. Like, we were finding nothing, but interest rates were high, higher than our 2.6 on our first house. And so we were obviously discouraged on that, but we were like, you know what, we'll find something, whatever. And if not, we loved our townhome. We would find something eventually, but we weren't too pressed. So we kept putting on in offers in houses, on houses, and we didn't get any that we were looking for. But then our real estate agent called us one day, and she had found a property in the same town as our townhome that we were living in at that time. And she said, she kind of gave us a rundown of what it was, and the owners were separating, so they needed to sell the house. And she was going to list it for them, but she told them that if, you know, that she might have a buyer for them, and so they didn't have to list it. And anyways, so we went and looked at it, loved the house. So let me rewind real quick. Scratch that house. Now, during while we were looking, we found this house, and this is the importance of like finding a really good realtor that you trust that aligns with your goals. We wanted to be real estate investors. We didn't want to just buy our first house to live in and raise our family in. We wanted to buy a house to then move. And she knew that. She's a real estate investor herself. And so the second house, when we started hunting for our second house, we found this house in a beautiful neighborhood. And this house was like almost brand new, and it was big, and it was just like so pretty. And hold on. So this house was really pretty, and it was like our dream house almost, you know, like it was just like, oh my gosh, we would love this house kind of thing. And we were like, let's put an offer on it. It was like at our like, you know how like your lenders give you how much you get approved for? It was like right at that limit. And you shouldn't do as much as they say that you're approved for, because then you kind of potentially be house poor. But we were like, oh my gosh, we could make it work. You know, let's do it. Let's put an offer in on this house. And so we told her that, and we were sitting in the middle, like around the island of that house, the pretty, very large island of this house. And she basically was like, if you buy this house, yes, you'll love it. It'll be nice. But you will not be able to do what your goals are, which is to move into another house, and build up your real estate portfolio. And we were like, so it was very hard to say no to that. But we ended up saying, okay, no, you're right. We don't want this. We want it, but it's not aligning with what our goals are. So we said no to that house. Then back to the house that she had found that she was going to list. We went and looked at that house, and we fell in love with it. It's so pretty. It was 5 bedrooms, 3 bath, half an acre yard, in a beautiful neighborhood right off the highway, so it's easy access to everywhere we needed to go. And we told them we wanted it. The owner was there, and we were talking to him, but afterwards we were like, yeah, let's put in an offer. I guess, I don't know if we had to put in an offer or how we had to do it. I don't know. I'm pretty sure we had to offer it and then he accepted, kind of thing. So we did that, and it was kind of easy going from there. We were nervous about it because it was more expensive and the interest rates were high, but now we're like, oh my gosh, it was such a great deal. Our interest rate for that house is 4.5%. We still have that house. It's a rental now. That was our second property, and we those go out. So that house, when we went into it, we redid it all. We took out the carpet, and I was 9 months pregnant at this time, and we took out all the carpet, and I thought I was going to have the baby because I was like dying, But we took out all the carpet and we started to paint the walls ourselves, but then my best friend talked me into just hiring it out. So, because we were making a bigger, like we wanted to paint the whole house before we moved in. So I hired out the flooring. We got LVP throughout the whole house. And I hired out the painting, and then everything else we kind of worked on ourselves throughout the year. We lived in there for about a year and a half, maybe a little less than a year and a half, and we just kind of worked on it. Like we put all new baseboards in, we put in new light fixtures. Dumbest thing we did is we wanted to make all the outlet and light switch covers black. We thought, oh, that would be cool, because we very much like the white and black theme, and I don't know if it's in anymore, but we kind of like that. Anyways, so we were like, oh, it'd be so cool because our walls were white if we had all outlets black. We started to do it, and we did 99% of the house, and this is a pretty big house. I think it's 2,600 square foot, and we did the majority of the house, and then we were like, no, we don't like it. We don't want to do it. So we ended up hiring that out, and we spent even more money to get that done. And all of them switched back to white when we could have just left it in the first place. So we spent an unnecessary amount of money in that house, but we learned so much. And now we know what to fix, what's not worth fixing, what's worth doing, and how much things cost. And we have so many references now of handymen and contractors and things like that. So it was a learning experience, but we were able to do a lot with it. Anyways, so that is it. I am almost done cleaning, even though I didn't clean much. I guess I did I just have a little bit left to put away, but I feel like I didn't do much. I just talked this whole time and sat here. Thought it'd be easier to just talk and do things, but I guess not. But I have the majority of it cleaned up. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe and comment ideas. So again, I will, for every subscriber I get up to 1,000 subscribers, once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I will donate $1,000 to someone or something. So if you are interested in following our journey, I will be making more videos like this. And subscribe, share this video, share my channel, and then in the comments, if you have somebody or something that you would like $1,000 donated to, or yourself, put it in the comments. Let me know. But anyways, if you have any questions about our real estate, about whatever we're doing in our lives, let me know.